Hello.
Hello, Lokhande sir, welcome. लोखंडे सर, वेलकम. अनम्यूट करा सर, आवाज नाही येत आहे. हा, इट्स ओके नाउ. हॅलो. बरं बरं. हॅलो सर, आवाज येतोय का माझा? हॅलो. लोखंडेचा आवाज नाही येत आहे. लोखंडे सर, तुमचा आवाज येत नाही आहे. माझा आवाज येतोय का तुम्हाला? इयरफोन असेल तर वापरा ना.
आवाज तर येत आहे. तुला नाही आला? मला आला.
हा, लावला ना त्यांनी, इयरफोन लावला. हॅलो. आता आवाज सर, लोखंडे सर, तुमचा आवाज नाही येत आहे. तुम्ही एक वेळा पुन्हा जॉईन करा वाटलं तर. पोस्ट वगैरे करावं लागेल. बरोबर. लाडोळे लोखंडे.
हॅलो सर.
हा. हॅलो. हॅलो. लोखंडे सर, तुम्हाला आवाज येतोय का माझा? तुमचा नाही येत आहे पण सध्या. त्यांना समजतंय ते. कुठलं नाही
उद्या
व्हायला.
तुझं माझं
कनेक्शन कुठे नाही. हॅलो. सर, आवाज नाही येत आहे.
काय करायचंय तुला तर मॅडम?
हो हो. इयरफोन लावल्यानंतर यायला पाहिजे. हो, इयरफोन पण लावला होता ना तुम्ही? इयरफोन लावल्यावर यायला पाहिजे. तुम्ही एकदा लिव्ह करून पुन्हा जॉईन व्हा नाही तर. हो,
सर जॉईन ऑडिओला क्लिक करा म्हणा सरांना.
जॉईन ऑडिओला क्लिक करावं लागेल.
हा, इंटरनेट ऑप्शन यूज करा आणि क्लिक करा म्हणा.
हा, इंटरनेटचा ऑप्शन यूज करून जॉईन ऑडिओला क्लिक करा जर तुमच्या समोर असेल तो ऑप्शन तर. पुन्हा जॉईन होतील. YouTube लिंक पाठवली.
सर नमस्कार. नमस्कार म्हटलं दादू.
हो नमस्कार नमस्कार.
9:30 वाजले असतील.
हा इथे हा 9:30 वाजले आता.
जाठे सर आमचे एचओडी आहेत ते प्रशांत.
हा 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 हा. नमस्कार.
हा सर, लोखंडे सर वेलकम. आवाज येतच नाहीये सर, सध्याही नाही येत आहे. आवाजाचा काय प्रॉब्लेम असेल. असं करतो, तू बोल ना मग.
हॅलो सर.
तुम्हाला माझा
सर तुमच्याकडे आवाज येतो माझा? हॅलो लोखंडे सर. लोखंडे सर.
माझा आवाज येत असेल तर मी सांगतो तसं करा.
कोणतरी थर्ड पार्टी हँडल करू.
पण पीसीवरूनही आवाज यायला पाहिजे, पाहिजे तेवढा लॅपटॉप यायला पाहिजे.
लोखंडे सर आवाज येतोय? लोखंडे सर आवाज येतोय? हॅलो सर. हा सर आवाज कमी येतो तुमचा. हॅलो सर. लोखंडे सर आवाज येतोय?
चॅट मध्ये टाका. हो.
सर तुमचा आवाज नाही येत. तुमचे हेडफोन व्यवस्थित आहे का?
जयकुमार सर इकडे शेअर झाले. इकडे जा. तुम्हाला पण झाली आहे का?
त्यांना कॉल करू या हेडफोन मधून त्यांचा आवाज असू शकतात. त्याचा हेडफोनचा इश्यू आहे सर. हॅलो हॅलो सर, तुमचा इयरफोन दुसरे आहे का तुमच्याकडे? हां, चेंज करू शकता का? हां, तो इयरफोन चेंज करा सर. इयरफोनचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे तुमचा. हां सर, इयरफोन चेंज करून घ्या, होऊन जाईल सर. हां सर. हां, आता येतो तुमचा हा आवाज, म्हणजे येतो बरोबर. तुम्ही लॅपी ब्लूटूथ सोबत कनेक्ट केलाय का सर? हां सर, तुम्ही जो इयरफोन आहे तुमचे ब्लूटूथ सोबत कनेक्ट केलाय का? हां सर, तुमचं जो इयरफोन आहे ते ब्लूटूथ सोबत कनेक्ट आहे का? वायरलेस वाले आहे का? दॅट इज स्क्वॉड वाले आहे ना? सिस्टीमला आहे ना? काढून सर पुन्हा लावा इकडं. हां सर, ते इयरफोन तुमचे काढून पुन्हा इकडं अटॅच करा पोर्ट मधून. हां सर. नाही सर, आवाज नाही राहिला तुमचा. चेंज करून घ्या सर, इयरफोन चेंज करा.
नाहीतर मग तुमचं स्क्रीन शेअरिंग मध्ये राहू द्या, म्हणून तुम्ही फोनवर बोलत.
लावून द्यायचं.
रिशेड्यूल करावं तर प्रशांत पोझिशन मध्ये नसेल ना एकदम बोलणे. हा?
59 प्रॅक्टिस पण झाली.
हो. लोखंडे सरांचं स्क्रीन आहे आपलं आपलं आहे ना खालची पट्टी. हो खालची पट्टी आपली. फार कमी येतोय सर आवाज, फार कमी येतोय.
हॅलो सर.
आता येतोय सर, आता येतोय.
ओके सर, ओके ओके.
आता तुम्ही जे स्क्रीन शेअर केलाय ना ते डिसेबल.
त्याच्यावर तर दिसायला की.
हो हो इकडे शेअर झाला होता.
हे काढू का मग हे? हॅलो सर.
हा, आता येतोय आवाज, व्यवस्थित येतोय.
ओके सर.
हा हा आता व्यवस्थित येतोय आवाज.
ओके सर.
हा. तुमचं स्क्रीन म्हटलं डिस्कनेक्ट करून टाका. शेअर केलं होतं ना इकडे.
हा हा. स्क्रीन होते का सर शेअर?
हो स्क्रीन शेअरिंग करून पाहू ना आपण. झालंय सध्या.
ओके सर.
सध्या शेअरिंग मध्ये आहे. तुम्ही तात्पुरतं बंद करा सर. 5 मिनिटं बोलतो. स्क्रीन शेअरिंग
हॅलो सर.
डिसेबल करा म्हटलं. स्क्रीन शेअरिंग ऑन करून तुम्ही बोलायला लागले की शेअर करा.
हॅलो सर.
हा
हॅलो सर.
हा
इको येते सर.
हो इको येतोय. तुमच्या रूम मध्ये अजून एखादं डिव्हाइस
हॅलो.
हा
हॅलो सर.
हा हा सर.
हॅलो.
हा आवाज येतोय आता तुमचा.
ठीक आहे सर.
हो झूम स्क्रीन त्यांचं स्क्रीन शेअर आहे. सर थोडं तुमचं स्क्रीन शेअरिंग बंद करा ना 5 मिनिटासाठी.
बंद करू. ठीक आहे.
स्क्रीन शेअरिंग पाहिजे आपल्याला, आपल्या स्क्रीन शेअरिंग. आपलं स्क्रीन शेअर करणं. Hello, hello. A warm welcome to all participants.
हॅलो सर.
A very good morning. I am Chandrasekhar Savarkar, Assistant Professor from Department of Computer Science, Srimati Narsamma, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Kiran Nagar, Amravati. As you all know, we have organized this Expert Talks webinar series 2021 on account of the Silver Jubilee celebration of our college. We have completed 25 years since our opening, and on that account, we are celebrating the Silver Jubilee. Today is day 3 of this webinar series, and our expert, Dr. S.N. Lokhande, is with us. I will first introduce him. His topic of today's webinar is uh, big data technology. Dr. S.N. Lokhande is assistant professor at School of Computational Sciences, Swami Ramanand Tirth, Marathwada University, Nanded. His qualification is MSc PhD. He has earlier worked as lecturer in Computer Science Department of Sant Tukaram College, Parbhani since January 2009, and he is now working at SRTM University, Nanded. His areas of interest are network security, data analytics, data science, and programming languages. He has a big research contribution also. He is recognized supervisor for PhD in SRTM University, Nanded. He has 20 plus publications in his name, including reputed journals, Springer, IEEE publications, some book chapters also, and conference proceedings also. He has book chapters in Springer's Lecture Notes on Computer Science series. He has also assisted Dr. Pawan Lingras. He is professor from St. Mary's University, Halifax, Canada, during his stay at India. We have got our session chair as Dr. Prashant Ladole, and he is from I welcome Dr. Prashant Ladole as a session chair. He is a principal IT architect at Morgan Stanley, Menlo Park, California, US. He is also pursuing his MBA at California University in Davis. He will chair today's session with our eminent expert, Dr. S.N. Lokhande. Welcome, Prashant Ladole, sir. Thanks for
Thank
chairing
you.
the session. And I request Lokhande, sir, to start his webinar now. The screen disabled.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, you can share your screen now.
Okay, sir. So thank you, Savarkar, sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Good morning to all the participants.
Good morning, sir.
So our today's topic is about big data technology and the Hadoop. So here, now we are in the era of data, and that data is generated in large volume. So simply the big data is nothing but It is a collection of data which is in huge volume and it is growing with the time. Again, one thing about the big data is that this big data cannot be get handled or processed efficiently with our traditional database management systems or tools. So that data is called as a big data. So this simple meaning of a big data. So next thing is, from here, this data is generated, or simply you can say that of a big data is a social media. Whatever the data generated through this social media site, it is high in volume. Like that, this data will be generated through the Twitters, Facebooks, Instagram, Google, and so on. Next source is the stock exchange data, means daily. In the world, data from stock exchanges about the selling and buying decisions made by the customer, it is also available. Again, there is another source, is power grid data, which holds the information on particular nodes, the uses of that node, and so on. Next data source is the black box data, which includes the voices of a flight crew, microphone recordings, the performance information about the aircrafts and the helicopters. This also one source for the big data. Similarly, the transport industry has also generating the big data, like the capacity of the vehicle, model of the vehicle, whether that vehicle is available, what is the distance covered by that vehicle, and so on. Next is the search engine data, It is one of the most significant source of the big data, because throughout the world, the peoples are using the search engines in their day-to-day activities. The clicking of the search engine will also generate a big source of the data. And in brief, we can say that the social media sites, our IoT devices, the images, videos, our phone calls, the purchase transaction records. So all these are the major sources of the big data. Now here, why today's data is called as a big data? So it has certain features like the volume, variety, velocity, variability, and value. So on the basis of these parameters, we can say that the data is a big data. So volume is nothing but the quantity of the data, and which is growing day by day. Variety means the type of the data which is generating today is different. Means the data in the format of pictures, videos, audios, or some IoT devices, or it may be in a PDF format. Means this different kind of data is available. Again, on the basis of this, a data can be also referred as a structured data, semi-structured, or the unstructured data. But nowadays, the 80% of the data or the big data which is available, it is in the unstructured format. Whenever I say that structured means it has a predefined structure or a schema. Whereas a big data is mostly available in the textual format. So next feature is the velocity. Means the speed of generation of the data, how fast the data is generated. So within a minute, huge volume of data is generated nowadays. Next is the variability. Inconsistency, which is shown by the data at different times. Sometimes the data may be valid data, or sometimes the data may be the invalid data, or that data may not be. In a proper format. So all about this, the one striking feature of the big data is value. Is all the organizations using this data to get the benefit. Means unless the big data is not converted into the value, it doesn't has any meaning. And yet the organizations working on this big data to achieve the high return on investment, or they are achieving. So the organizations try to find out the value from this big data. So these are the some basic characteristics of big data. So why to process the big data? Because today we are saying that the data is the oil. So why? So there are a number of benefits when we process the data. There the business organizations can use this data to take their future decisions. Again, with the help of big data processing, the services will be get improved, means as per the requirement, as per the need of the users. The services may be get changed or modified by the business organizations. Again, with the help of this big data processing, it is possible early identification of the risk or the frauds in the product or services. So here, if we have a more data, then there is a more chance to get useful insights from that data. So these are some benefits. Next thing related to the big data is the data analytics. This basically, it is a technique which is used to get insight of our data. And here, this big data analytics may use various techniques like the data mining to find the patterns and the relationship among the attributes available in that big data. Here, in the data analytics, we can use some statistical methods which can be used to build a model, and those models can be used to predict certain value, like that what will be the price of a share in next session. So such things can be also possible with the data analytics. Again, machine learning is also used to handle the changing new data. Again, in the data analytics, text analytics and NLP is useful for analyzing a textual information and the recognition of speech. So these are different ways or methods that can be used for big data analytics. So here, a big data analytics may be performed for different reasons, like that the descriptive analytics, which is helpful to find what is happened. Yes. Similarly, the diagnostic analytics will be used to explain why that particular event will be happened, why this happened, diagnostic. Whereas the predictive analytics is useful to suggest what likely will happen in the future or in the next event. So for this, it is useful to analyze a big data. So here, why the big data analysis, or what is the outcome or output of a big data analysis. Simply here in the big data analysis process, a data is given as a input and similarly after the processing, whatever the outcome, that outcome may be also in the form of data input, data output. But whatever the output, that output has some value or it is useful for decision making. Generally, the output of a big data is a data product. So what is this data product? It is nothing but it is an application, or it may be a tool which is based on a data, and it is used by the businesses to improve their decisions and processes. Sometimes a data products may be in the form of a user interface which will assist the user to perform their activities. And here are some examples of the data products. The recommendation systems is when we are surfing some products or searching some products like a book. So it will prompt us like that. You may also like. It will recommend the similar books. Again, when we use some query on the search engine, so at that time it will display the related sites as per our search query. Again, it is one example of a data product. Again, here, as we are familiar with the Amazon recommendations, yeah, whatever the clicks or we are purchasing, all these events are get accessed by the Amazon. They will examine our purchase behavior, and on that it will recommend some similar products. Again, on the Facebook, it may show us a message, the people you may know. So it is based on our prior information. As how it will shows the mutual friends. It will based on the type of our work, our educational information, and some other factors are used for the friend suggestion. So this is one example of a data product. For that, the different organizations are interested to get the value from this big data, and therefore it has an hype in today's era. So here, in general, if we have a data, we are using our traditional DBMS or RDBMS systems for storing and processing a data. But whatever the traditional database systems, they are unable to handle the big data. So what are the problems with our traditional data processing system? The first problem is our traditional DBMS system are unable to store this huge volume of data. Again, whatever the data available in the big data format, it is very complex. It is in different formats like the structured, unstructured, or semi-structures. Because our traditional DBMS systems are based on a fixed schema. As first the structure or the table is formed, and as per that table the data will be get stored. But when a data is in a mixed or different format, so our DBMS systems are unable to store such kind of data. Next is, in our DBMS or the RDBMS, whenever a process has to be performed on the data, so at that time, the data should be moved to the process. Is at the central system, all the data has to be get moved, and here the data will be get processed. So it will forms a bottleneck. Here our traditional servers are unable to store this huge amount of data. So these are the problems: storing different patterns of the data, processing the data. So how this big data will be get processed? And for that, there is a rescue, and which is the Hadoop. From last 15 years, Hadoop is become an integral part of business organization. So it's Hadoop is a free software which allows the distributed processing of large data sets. And here it uses the cluster of computers for storing and processing the data. Simply, we can say that it is a solution for processing the big data. And here, it will resolve the problems of our traditional system, like the DBMS or the RDBMS, that is data storage, data structuring, and data processing. These three issues will be resolved by the Hadoop. So how Hadoop will provide a solution for big data processing? The first problem was storing. So here, when we are using a Hadoop for big data analysis, so whatever our data, that data will be get broken, it will be divided into the blocks, and they will be get distributed on a different nodes or the commodity hardwares. As storing the data in the distributed fashion. Next is, as in the DBMS, we need a schema, pre-structure for storing the data. Here, Hadoop gives us the facility to write a data, store the data without the schema validation. Means here, once we write a data, after that, we can read that data more times. And the third problem of DBMS or the RDBMS was a processing. So here, in a Hadoop, whatever the process or whatever the query we are firing to process the data, that query is moved to the data. Data is not moving. A process is moving towards the data, which is stored in a distributed form. Yes, at this nodes, we can simply say that a data is get processed. There is no need to collect all the data for processing. Distributed processing is also possible. So this is how the Hadoop will be useful for big data analysis. Basically, the it is solution to overcome the problems of our traditional system. And here, how it is possible to process the big data using the Hadoop. So the core Hadoop has different components, like the MapReduce, HDFS, that is the Hadoop distributed file system, yarn, common utilities. So these are the core elements, core components of the Hadoop. Here the common utilities are similar to the libraries that can be used by the other components of the Hadoop ecosystem. The HDFS or the Hadoop distributed file system, it is a storage layer. As we say that Hadoop gives us a facility to store the data in a distributed fashion. So here it has a file system, HDFS, as distributed file system. So it is used to store our data set in a cluster of computers. Similarly, we can say that Hadoop is reliable. Means here it will create the replicas of our data block. Generally, for one data block, it will create by default the 3 replicas. Means if one node or one data block of one node will be get crashed, so that data block will be get returned from this replica. Yes. So here this HDFS has 3 components. That is name node. Basically, it is referred as a master node, whereas a data node is a slave. Here the HDFS or the Hadoop has a master slave architecture. So here the name node is a controller, whereas the data node is a processor. It will process the data. Similarly, we may also have a secondary name node. Means if the primary name node is get fails, then the task will be overtaken by the secondary name node. So this is the HDFS, which gives the facility of a distributed storage of data. Again, how the processing is performed. So here there is one component in the Hadoop, that is the MapReduce. It is a distributed data processing framework. It is a Java based system. And here this MapReduce will breaks our big data into a smaller task. So it has 2 functions, the map and reduce. Here the map task will take the input data and split that data into the independent chunks. And output of this map task will be given as an input for the reduce task. So here the reduce task will combine all the mapped data into a smaller set of key value pair tuples, key and value. The output of the map reduce may be a key value. the key and its value. Here's a simple example. The map reduce word count process. So this is our input file. So when this given to the map function, so here the map function will perform the splitting. Our huge text file is divided into the number of blocks as splitting. Then mapping is get performed. Every word, like suppose the text file, the word is get tokenized and a value. This is the key and its value. So in this way, for every block of our data, the mapping task is performed. Then whatever the output of this map function, it is given as an input to the reduce function. So here it will perform the shuffling and reducing, as the similar words are get collected as a single unit, and in the reducing it will count all these words, like there are 2 times beer is appear in this file. So finally it will has such results. So this simple example how the map reduce will perform the task. Again, there is one another component, that is the yarn. It is used for the resource utilization. Here the users can use various Hadoop applications without having to bother about the workload. Here, this yarn will provide the resources and it will schedules the task. So these are the core components of the Hadoop system. Again, above this, there are other different components which cross the Hadoop system, and basically it is referred as the Hadoop ecosystem. Different components, different applications are built on the Hadoop system, and they are become the integral part of the Hadoop ecosystem. So in this ecosystem, we have different types of components. Some are used for data queuing. Some are used for data collection. Some are used for the coordination in the Hadoop cluster. So let's have an overlook on some components of this Hadoop ecosystem. Like here, Hive. It is an open source data warehouse system which provides a facility of querying and analyzing large data sets which are stored in a Hadoop files. Here, this Hadoop has its own query language, which is similar to our SQL, which is referred as a Hadoop QL or HQL. Here, this HQL will automatically translate our SQL like queries into a map reduce jobs which will be executed on the Hadoop. Here is a simple diagram. When we are processing our data using the SQL queries, so here this Hadoop will convert our SQL query into the map reduce job and it will get submitted to the Hadoop cluster. Next ecosystem component is a pig. Here the pig is able to process any kind of data. And it has its own programming model of a language that is the pig Latin, which is similar to the our structured query language. So it is used to load the data, applies the required filters or processing on the data, and then dumps or store the data in the required format. A simple example, how a pig Latin here we have to find out the pages visited by the users whose age is between 20 and 29 years. So in this way, a simple processing is get performed. Load is used to load the contents of this file, and it will assign a name users, and in this file we have UID and age. Now from this file we have to extract only the users which are between the year greater than 20 and less than 29. So here we can apply a filter to extract only the specific users. Similarly, we are loading another file that is which has the information about the pages, web pages, that is the URL, user ID, and the timestamp information. So we are loading this file into the Hadoop, and we are storing this as a page visited PVs. Now here the contents of these two files, PVs and users 20, will be get combined as per our requirement. Yes, and here the dump command is used to print or to store the results obtained after the processing. So in this way, the pig Latin is useful to process the huge volume of data with very less steps. 4 to 5 steps are needed to process the big data and get our required result. So it is one of the component of the Hadoop ecosystem. Again, HBase, which is a distributed database which is used to store the structured data in the table format. Basically, it is based on a big table, Google's big table. Here, the HBase gives us the facility to store a data which has a billions of rows and millions of columns. And here it is a database which is referred as a NoSQL. Again, there is also the MongoDB is also available in the Hadoop, which is a NoSQL database. It is also sometimes referred as a not only SQL. So this HBase gives us a facility to store a different kind of data in a different form, as we familiar with the key value or a wide column or a column family format, connected graph, document format or document oriented. It is used when there is a nested information. A graph-based storage which is used for handling the complex relational information. So just wait. Sorry, sir. So another component is a scoop. Here the scoop will use to import or export the data to and from the Hadoop system. Here, the databases which are stored in the RDBMS or in the MySQL format or Oracle, they will be get stored into the Hadoop file system. And after the processing, it will be get exported into the our traditional system. So the scoop, the flume is used to collect the large amount of data remotely and storing it into the HDFS. Like that, whatever the data generated through such sources, that data will be get extracted by this flume and it will be get stored into the Hadoop system. Oh, Baba. Second try. So next Hadoop component is a Ambari. It is a management platform which will manage, monitors, and provide the security for the Hadoop cluster. And here, this Ambari is responsible for keeping the track of running applications in the Hadoop and their current status. It is a web-based tool which is used to manage, monitors, and it also provisions the health of the Hadoop cluster. Next is the Zookeeper. It is also a manager or management tool which manages and coordinates the large cluster of machines. It will maintain the record of all the transactions. It is a Zookeeper. Last, we can say, is the Mahout. Basically, it is a machine learning framework of the Hadoop. So once data is stored in the Hadoop, so this Mahout will provide data science tools to automatically find the meaningful patterns in these big data sets. So if this Mahout has a set of different algorithms, like the clustering, which is used to group the items which have a similar feature in a same group. And there is a classification which is used for the categorization and assign one particular class to this set of items. Another is frequent atom or pattern mining, which is used for analyzing the items in a group and then identifies which items typically appear together as item set. Again, the Mahout also performs have an algorithm that is used for the collaborative filtering, which binds the user behavior, and on the basis of that, it makes the product recommendation, like in the Amazon recommendation. So it is one of the machine learning framework of the Hadoop. So this is just from me, and I'm thankful to all the participants who listen me. So if you have any questions,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lokhande. Dr. Lokhande, thank you
hello,
very
sir.
much. Thanks, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please disable your screen sharing, sir. And now I request Mr. Prashant Ladole, who is available for us for this webinar from directly from US. He is participating in the webinar, and he is also working. One of the platform of his working is big data technology, and I request him to deliver concluding remarks on the webinar. Ladole sir, please. Sir, you are not audible to us. Yes, yes. Now you are audible. The volume is little low.
Let me
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now it is clear.
Okay. Thank you, Savarkar, sir. Thank you, Dr. Lokhande, for providing us a glimpse of big data technology.
Thank you, sir.
The age of big data is here. With the advance of storage technology and this open source software tools such as Hadoop, Spark, and NoSQL databases, you can exploit low-cost commodity hardware and run parallel queries on multiple nodes. This has changed the way most of the businesses are operating today. One of the example Dr. Lokhande showed is an Amazon recommendation tool. Probably you must have seen how Amazon can cleverly provide you the recommendation, product recommendation, based on your past history and current products you just search. How can they do it? Often, more and often, they will actually run those queries, those queries on a multiple nodes, probably 10, 15 nodes parallelly, and collect that data to show you near real time. This has changed most of the business model. Oftentimes, most of the businesses are using predictive technology to identify customer behavior and customer behavior. So this is going to be a future if you want to get into a software industry. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prashant sir. Once again, I am very thankful to the expert Dr. S.N. Lokhande for exploring all the intricacies of the topic and presenting it in a very nice manner to all of us. And finally, Mr. Prashant Ladole made himself available to us on this opportunity, and has a very right guidance and rightly said that this is the future of the software industry. So the participants must take some lesson from this lecture, and they will prepare themselves for the big data and Hadoop components. Thank you. Now I would request our HOD, Professor Narendra Zathe, to uh, deliver his vote of thanks. Sir, sir, unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Narendra Gathe, Computer Science Department of Srimati Narsamma Art, Commerce and Science College, Amravati, organizing Expert Talk Webinar Series 2021 in Computer Science on the occasion of Silver Jubilee Year celebration of the Institute for Teachers, UG students, PG students in Computer Science. Today's lecture was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gave deep insights into the topic and also reviewed some interesting facts. On behalf of Srimati Narsamma Hiriya Education Trust, Art, Commerce and Science College, IQAC, Department of Computer Science team, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our guest lecture speaker, Dr. S.N. Lokhande, for visiting and enlightening us with their knowledge. Thank you very much, sir. Again, I would like to thank Session Chair, Mr. Prashant Ladore, Principal IT Architect, California, US, for taking out time from their busy schedule and enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you very much, sir. And also, thanks to all the participants present here for paying attention and learning. Thank you very much, sir. Over to Saurabh, sir. Sir, unmute, sir.
If participants have any question, they can send it in the chat box, or on the group also they can send. They will be answered separately by our expert, Dr. S.N. Lokhande, sir. So, with the permission of session chair, our expert, and our head, Dr. Narendra Zathe, I declare that this program is ended now, and we will meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. again. Thank you. Thank you very much for all the persons who have directly, indirectly uh, supported this live event. Thank you.